Researchers are doing amazing, futuristic work in clinical trials, like rewriting our very genetic code to cure diseases. Those accomplishments are even more impressive when you realize the primitive state of the technology that supports research. I'm Dema Poppa, CEO of Invio. Before Invio, I managed large multi-center clinical trials. Let me tell you about the state-of-the-art clinical trial or technology supporting those clinical trials. Every year, more than $40 billion is spent on clinical development to bring new drugs and medicines to market. Of that, more than $10 billion is wasted dealing with paper records filed into 3-ring binders. And more than $3 billion is spent on foregone revenue opportunities from delays in drug approval. Even worse, more than 26,000 patients die every year waiting for new medicines to be approved. Why is this process so inefficient? It has to do with the very way that clinical trials are actually executed. When you're working on the industry side, you don't see patients. So you work with a number of hospitals across the country. For a small study, that may be 10 sites. For a larger study, that could be 100, maybe 200 sites. What happens at those sites is they collect all this research information that feeds into your study system. But you have an obligation to make sure that the data quality is very good. And so how that's typically achieved is flying to every single hospital every 4 to 8 weeks to sit down and review 100% of the printed materials that supports the study. Then, if any data issues are identified, you pass them back to the site for correction. 8 weeks later, you verify that the correction is there. That puts us on an 8 to 16 week cycle during which data issues are identified and up to 15% of your study budget can be eliminated on travel and site visits. That is an extremely inefficient way to deal with paper. And I do mean paper. If you look at the amounts generated every year by a research site, it's about 1,000 square feet of paper printed to support clinical trials. It's a lot, and the impacts on quality and human life are unacceptably high. Invio fixes that with our SourceDrive system. SourceDrive is an aggressively compliant, cloud-based system that makes all of the paper that would have had to have been printed available in our cloud so that it can be accessed remotely and verified for quality control purposes. This cuts a cycle time of those 4 to 8 weeks plus 4 to 8 weeks down to a matter of days. As soon as the records are loaded into our system, they are remotely available for monitors to review and access. Even better, we leverage our platform to introduce automation to the clinical trial process, speeding things that were previously incredibly slow, laborious workflows. This opens up a really exciting revenue opportunity in the US working with a number of different customers. Because of the nature of the clinical research industry, you're dealing with sponsors, which is drug and medical device companies, as well as contract research organizations, who are typically the actual agents to which this work is outsourced, and research sites. So between the three of those who have different value propositions with our system, it unlocks $2.2 billion of potential revenue for Invio system-wide. That's in the US alone, looking just at the pharmaceutical market. Of course, we're not alone in this space, given that there's a very large opportunity here. Sorry, I used very. Given that there's a large opportunity here, there is competition in this space, but Invio is unique in that we cover the regulatory aspects of the system, plus being designed from the ground up to support these kind of workflows, have a fully compliant, specialized set of workflows to support everything that's done in a clinical trial. So from the regulatory documentation all the way through all of the patient documentation in a way that makes sense rationally to the people working at the research sites, as well as to their counterparts on the industry side at the sponsors and contract research organizations. Our business model is relatively straightforward. We use a SaaS system for which we charge a license for every study per site per month across the system. So if you're working on a 100 hospital study, every month you'll have 100 licenses assessed. We see this as being a great opportunity to sell in for a single project and then drive to support the entire portfolio of that customer. We've been able to build the system because of our incredible team, which brings together experience in electronic health record system and SaaS delivery and design, includes experience in design and user research, very strong product management component, and of course my own experience, more than 11 years spent in the trenches of biomedical regulatory affairs, running clinical trials, and actually wrestling with these paper problems. We're raising a $700,000 seed round to achieve our goals in the coming year, which entail business development relating to bringing on new customers, starting new pilots, and converting those pilot customers into full customers, supporting their entire portfolio. We've previously raised an angel round and are alumni of Techstars and have worked very closely with Cedars-Sinai through their accelerator program. If you're interested in learning more, I'd love for you to reach out to me personally. My contact information is below. I'm Dema Poppa, CEO of Invio, and I look forward to speaking with you.